Hey guys, it's Dave. I just wanted to take a minute to personally apologize for the tardiness and the quality of this week's episode. Things happened at the last minute, and I didn't realize that there was a problem with Brian's microphone. It's not terrible all the way through, and we felt that the conversation and the humor was good enough to go ahead and release it. So those of you that suffer through it, we thank you so much for your patience, and know that this is not indicative of things in the future. We will be more aware and prompt, because we want to put out a good show for you guys. We appreciate you guys. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and Brian's got a message for you too, I guess.
Hey, everybody, this is Brian from It's All Good, man. If I sound weird right now, it's because I'm actually recording this while in traffic on my way home from work. Anyway, tonight's episode, you might notice some cracking noises. That's actually from a microphone issue that Dave and I just discovered not too long ago. But, in all honesty, we just don't have the time to record another episode. Or at least, not another episode on Better Call Saul episode 2. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead, post the episode. You're going to pretend that those aren't microphone crackles. You're going to pretend that those are like DJ record scratches. Just so Dave and I seem a little bit more street. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So, please make sure that you participate in a preview with the Prior later this week. And we'll try not to suck for episode 303. Dave, go ahead. Put the theme music here.
It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is It's All Good, Man. The better. Wait for it.
Can I get a witness? Wait,
Better Call Saul podcast.
I think I have to pay for that, but I don't care.
My name is Brian, and with me, as always, is Easter Bunny Dave. Dave, how's it going?
Happy Easter, everybody. And for the record, it took Brian about 10 seconds to say his own name. Right
Yeah,
there.
I don't know why, man. I got a lot going on. I moved my entire house yesterday. It's just absolutely insane.
Well, we'll bear with you on this, Brian, because sometimes this is what you need to do.
Right. You know, and I actually can't wait because when we move into our new house, we're kind of like at our grandparents' house right now. When I move into our new house, the basement is my official domain, and in the basement there is a workshop. But since I don't build shit, that is going to become my podcasting studio within my basement at my new house.
We'll just build some podcasts.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Dave and I also host the Nothing Important Podcast with our friend Jeff. You can find that at www.nothingimportantpodcast.com, where Dave and I chat with people more important and famous than we will ever be. And kind of a fun thing, you can find it on iTunes, but we are also have an iTunes provider page now, which means if you wanted to subscribe to the podcast, you know, you had to subscribe to It's All Good, Man and Nothing Important separately.
Yeah.
But if you search Nothing Important, it will also come up as Nothing Important Podcast, like plural. And if you subscribe to that, then you will get both It's All Good, Man and Nothing Important delivered to your iTunes.
Me likey.
I'm not sure if that works with any of the other podcatchers like Stitcher and anything like that, but definitely for those of you that use iTunes, it'll be a convenient way to hear our stupidity quite often. Now, before Dave and I get into talking about Season 3, Episode 2, titled Witness, you know you want to sing it, so just go ahead.
Can I get a witness? But I already sang it in the intro.
Yeah.
Talking about my baby.
Before we get into that, late yesterday evening, after I got done moving, we put out Preview with the Prior for this current episode we're talking about, and finally our Bob Odenkirk interview.
That's right. It took me a while to get some things rolling. Dave got pretty crazy busy, but listening back to it, every time we listen back to an interview, it sounds better. It's not as bad as we thought, or like it was actually like really cool, and like he knew that we were on a podcast. I forgot because he said, "Are you on a podcast here?" You know,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, such a great guy. Go listen to the interview. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we've been getting a lot of love on Twitter for it as
Good.
well. So
As we should.
a lot of love, a lot of retweets. We also have that same interview on the Nothing Important podcast, but the Nothing Important podcast is more like a morning radio show, I would say.
Yeah, the surrounding chats are different.
Yeah, the surrounding chats are different. So, if you want to head over there, and I think at one point we were talking about walking around grandma's house naked and Abraham Lincoln's first emails and just kind of entertaining ourselves, but it was fun.
That's right.
And we threw Bob Odenkirk on that as well. So if you want to hear the Bob Odenkirk interview with something slightly different about what Dave and I talk about during our free time, you can check out the Nothing Important podcast.
Also, I will get another interview with another lead cast member up very, very shortly.
That's right.
I don't want to blow the wad.
Yep, there you go. So we are sitting on an interview with Ray Seahorn.
Mm-hmm.
Look for that.
And we talked about some episode 2 type stuff, so I'm going to wait, until after that airs to really release that.
Okay, and in the bank, we also have on deck the return of Patrick Fabian for the third time, I believe.
That's right. We jib-jabbed with the PFAB for a little bit.
Yeah, man, that was a fun chat, too. He is such a nice dude.
He's my favorite guest, hands down.
He is such a fun guy, And it's funny because the funny thing about some of these folks is, I'm not going to say I'm like buddies or friends with them, but it's nice that when they interact with us outside of the show, like those of you out there don't know, and I didn't post it on Twitter or anything, but one time I tried to text you guys a picture of me giving you a thumbs up as a sarcastic response to our podcast group text message. Accidentally sent it to Patrick Fabian, who actually sent me a picture of him driving, giving the same sarcastic thumbs up.
He selfied you back.
Yeah. So then we kind of went back and forth, and he asked for my address and said he was going to send me something. So it should be interesting to see what he sends me in the mail.
Curious as to what's going on there.
Yeah. Also, of course, I'm sure coming up we'll have Brandon K. Hampton, but today I talked to Joe DeRosa, who plays the vet.
Yes. Another good guest of ours.
Yeah. Plays the vet on Better Call Saul. So hopefully we'll record with him sometime later this week.
Cool. Very cool.
Maybe over lunch. And the great thing about Joe DeRosa, he just doesn't. He's mainly a stand-up comic,
right?
And he does video game voiceover work. He just came out with a Comedy Central special.
Nice, yeah. So we'll have more than Saul to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that will definitely be on the Nothing Important podcast as well, because it won't be so Saul centric, but it will be somewhat Saul centric. So we'll keep it on Saul.
Yeah, or maybe we'll do what we did with Mark Prost, and we'll try to cheat and split it up,
split it in half,
to make people listen to the other. Podcast, and then talking to our AMC rep, we have all sorts of people in the bank. We're just waiting for the right opportunity to get a chance to chat with them. And kind of a fun thing is a gentleman by the name of Steven Kelsowitz touched base with me. He actually wrote a book called Why You Better Call Saul. And the book examines the character's transformation and the legal and philosophical issues in Better Call Saul.
That's kind of strange that he would write that before the story's complete, because there's going to be more to come.
Well, I think he takes. I don't think it's so much about the show Better Call Saul, so much as it is about the philosophies and the actual legal mumbo jumbo. He's also the guy that wrote The World According to the Simpsons, The Tao of Jack Bauer.
Tao.
Tao. T-A-O.
It's pronounced Tao.
All right, The Tao of Jack Bauer, which I'm assuming is a 24 thing.
Yes.
And From Poland to Brooklyn, which I have no idea.
Poland to Brooklyn.
I have no idea what that's about, but we're going to have him come on the show, and he's going to have the opportunity to where a few of our listeners can win a copy of his book.
That is a fantastic idea.
Right, so I think that'd be a fun... So we're doing lots of things for you guys. We don't have T-shirts for you this year, but
we're still trying to get you some swag. We want to give you guys swag.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now we are talking about Season 3, Episode 2, titled Witness. So let's get into that before it gets too late, because once again, Dave and I are doing this the night before it airs on AMC.
We're definitely having 6 days to air South Park Philosophy this season with our schedules and craziness that's been going on. So
yeah.
Whatever. We keep getting it up on time. So
yep, we're making it happen. Remember, our episodes post as the credit rolls on Better Call Saul, and if it was up any faster, it would be live.
And sometimes I'm editing it during the show.
Yeah, there you go. Like last time,
Yeah.
I think I got the file like with like 10 minutes left in the show.
I was watching the clock pretty hard.
Yeah. All right. Season 3, episode 2, titled Witness. The opening, cold opening, focused on a tea kettle. And first you just kind of see some dude playing cards. And it threw me for a loop because I was sitting there, I'm like, who the hell's that guy?
Right.
I was looking through notes from last season. I'm like, who's the, what? Where did that guy come from? And it's funny because it's so awkward because Chuck is politely inquisitive as to his game of solitaire.
Right.
And I think he's just trying to like cut the tension. He's like, you know, why do the cards have holes in them? And the guy goes on to explain and tries to like make a connection and like not really bond with them, but like kind of like make it a little less awkward. And it brings up Vegas, and Chuck's like, oh yeah, never been. Like he just totally like.
And I don't know. I was trying to like stretch some metaphor out of that about the whole like prevents from cheating, and once something's used up, you stamp a hole in it and sell it for $1.
Right.
You know, that kind of caught me. There's obviously some purposeful dialogue in there, but what got me about that scene was the blue hue.
Yeah.
Because blue hue always meant flashback in the earlier seasons. So I'm thinking this is a flashback. So who's this guy from the past? And then it doesn't get revealed until later what's really going on.
Right.
But because he's being so suspicious and he's not acting like he's, you know, the reactions to the electromagnetic fields. So I thought it was an older, you know, or younger Chuck. I thought this was a flashback.
Right. And I do love how Chuck is just completely uninterested in the guy.
Yeah.
Like, so he's obviously there for some sort of purpose, but
he's using it up until he stamps a hole in him and tosses him out, man.
Yeah. The way it was set up, though, I was like, I felt like they totally set it up like it was somebody we should have an idea of who the hell it was, but but not at all. But it's fun. It's fun. He kind of left us scrambling.
And I'm always going to comment on the camera pans because the reveal of it when it kind of pans to the mirror and then you see the person in the mirror when you originally thought there was nobody else in the room. Pretty interesting stuff there.
Yep. So it opens up. It's the caddy with the lawyer up. So is that keeping consistent with previous seasons?
As far as I remember, yes.
Now, one thing that struck me, and I'm sorry if the person from Reddit is listening to this because
I hope they are because that's just another listener for it.
Yeah, I hope so. And
thank you for listening.
I'm gonna message him after this and say that we talked about. I'll have to go back and find his post, but. Remember last year we kind of had the idea about the black and white parts of the opening? This person on Reddit, again, I apologize if you're listening and I don't have your username. I'll try to correct that during this week's preview with the prior.
Fantastic.
He noticed that the credits are getting more and more black and white. So he proposed a theory that since Gene is in black and white, if the credits eventually go all black and white, then finally we'll get to see Gene in color.
I like it.
Which is pretty interesting because that'd be a good like final, you know, like because then we're officially in Gene's life. You know what I mean? Like we're post
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, post all this stuff. So,
it's kind of like the conclusion of the entire narrative.
Yeah, exactly. So that'd be really cool if they did that, and that's a great theory. So I'll make sure that he gets his credit on
these
preview.
clever bastards, man.
Opening scene at post opening.
Post credits.
Opens on a crossword puzzle.
That's right. Where I paused it.
And
I found some extra words.
Okay.
All right. So I found cave.
Okay.
Crater. Caps.
Okay.
And cactus.
For real cactus?
I don't know. Go watch it and look.
You know, let's just extrapolate that and just say for some reason that's a nod to us. We're just going to go ahead and claim that, even though there's no way in hell.
I tried so hard to even find like some sort of close spelling to cactus, and the closest I got was like CRCUS or something. It was kind of close.
Just to clarify, like the letters for the word cactus were in there, just not in sequence.
Exactly.
There was definitely a couple.
It's like if you're playing Boggle, you could have put cactus together.
Okay, yeah. So they're just
I thought these were detectives.
Yeah, I wasn't
at
really
first.
sure.
I really had that because the stakeout. I thought they were staking somebody out. That's my first impression.
Yeah, like the people sleeping in the car was staking
somebody out. I thought maybe they're staking Mike out or something.
Right, but it was actually Mike staking them out.
Right, they had just retrieved the tracker from Mike.
Yep, and then we go on to this this big long scene of where it's just Mike following the driver of the car that was handed the tracking device.
Right.
A lot of cool cinematography in that.
Yeah, it's a very cool sequence. But what I took from it was this. I kind of felt Mike was out of character here.
You think
in
so?
all honesty, he's like, isn't this when he just pulls up, leaves the headlights on, he's walking in the middle of the street, with the he's being so conspicuous.
He was like over the overhang, like
Yeah.
looking down.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like they didn't really show you he was on a bridge at first.
Mhm.
So it seemed like he's wandering around, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, dude, you're on a bridge. You know the guy's going to be underneath you. But then I realized that maybe he was kind of smart and was just looking for the point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A couple things I noticed during this scene. The credits were going through, like the stars of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Michael Mando's name pop up, but he wasn't in this episode, was he?
No, maybe he's just one of those. I
He gets a credit every
yeah,
show.
they get
He's
a
like
credit
main...
for every episode. 'cause
Did he
he's
have a
big enough
credit on the
character.
first episode?
I didn't. I honestly don't watch the credits. I'm too busy looking at background stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought that was also the gentleman who retrieved when he's going down like the side of the embankment into the giant drainage tunnels,
Mhm.
and he's like having a hard time kind of scooting down that.
Yeah.
Like as it pans out, and you see him going down like the big slanted concrete embankment.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the left of it, there's a very grassy, obviously easier path to walk up.
I didn't
And I'm
even
like, why
notice
didn't you
that.
just walk like 10 feet down the road and then just like go down the grass and then across instead of trying not to break his neck falling down the cement?
I probably would have done the same.
Yeah.
I probably would have rolled down the cement just to see if I could do it.
Yeah, and this is the first time I noticed this was Mike uses the binoculars on a mirror.
Yeah.
Does that work in real life?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I was
either.
thinking about that too. I don't know.
I mean, I get that, like, the binoculars, pretty much all they do is use, like, the existing light to magnify and all that. But,
Right.
like,
It's all lenses and
right,
refraction of light.
I don't think I've ever... it made me want to go find a pair of binoculars and, like, look in the mirror just to see. Right? Like, I didn't quite... if anybody's out there who's ever done anything like that, please let us know if that really works. Like,
I might just try it throughout the week and have an answer for you for preview.
I mean, theoretically, it would. It makes sense that it would.
I guess
but-
if your eyeglasses improve your sight and you're looking your eyeglasses into a mirror, you see the reflection
Right.
better.
Right.
And that's the same principle. It's just the binoculars use two lenses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Odd. But the scene ends, and it's finally daylight, and we finally get the first official in-show glimpse of Los Polos.
Yeah, I liked it.
Monos.
I'm kind of regretting the way I watched that scene. I kept pausing it to take notes. I took a lot of notes during that scene, which I pretty much never even said in the whole conversation. but it was mostly about Mike kind of acting more conspicuous than I thought he should.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
then
that's what I was thinking.
The reveal didn't pay off for me like it should have, but I think it probably, if you watch it all without pausing, it's
Yeah.
a pretty cool reveal because it's this long ass scene and then it pulls out and it's like bam.
Right, yeah.
You're at Los Polos
it's like hinting at what everybody's like been waiting for.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Yeah, the whole thing, like when he was like looking over the overpass and like down on him, like, how does anybody not see you? Because
Yeah.
like line of sight, right? So you had to be close enough to the wall. All that guy had to do was like sneeze or like look up or something. He would have saw you. So I
Yeah.
totally get where you're going with that. But it's probably necessary for storytelling. And once again, they have a successful TV show and we don't.
Exactly.
So who the hell are we?
I just don't want to be rose-colored glasses for everything. I guess you gotta,
Right. And
out
remember, I
things you
actually
don't like
struggled with
about
that
it.
during season 1 because
right,
I remember being somewhat disappointed in the season finale of season 1.
right.
And I actually struggled about that. But then I was like, no, I got to be honest.
Yeah, this is just what we think of the show. We're
Yeah.
not a mouthpiece for the show,
Mhm.
although we kind of want to be in it.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if this was during a commercial or if it was just the edit that we saw, but we see Jimmy painting the Wexler McGill sign.
Yeah, I like that, the mountain type logo with the sky and
Yeah, and he was explaining how it was supposed to go, and Francesca makes a return.
That's right, Francesca Liddy.
Honey tits. That's what he called her in Breaking Bad. So it was good. It was good to see her return. So she's definitely been with Saul for a while, and it was kind of fun to see. I kind of hinted at that a bit in some of the things I wrote, where Gus isn't the only one who reappears. So it was
Right.
nice to see It was nice to see Francesca appear, and there's a good chance that she is going to appear on the It's All Good Men podcast. So
Nice.
it'll be interesting to ask her how she was, like a funny but a very minor character in Breaking Bad, and
Right.
they kind of brought her back in because she's actually an integral part of the story. So it'll be fun to talk to her about in real life, after all those years and the difference in demeanor from the way, in Breaking Bad, she was in her own way a little crooked.
Right.
And, she was just kind of over it, but like, hey, it paid the bills.
Right.
And then in this, she's gung-ho, ready to go to get away from the DMV.
Right. Eager. And I'm curious. She had to know she was going to get a call, right? Like, she had to know she was going to be a part of the story at some point.
Yeah.
So was she like waiting for the call, or did
Right,
she think maybe they'll just write me out and,
And I haven't looked in IMDb, so I don't know if she's done anything in the past, but like from all the people we've talked about involved with this series and Breaking Bad or whatever, there's a lot of people who don't have giant resumes who were just brought in for bit parts. And,
Right.
Like Ken Wins, he's done some commercial work. We talked to him last year too.
Yeah, Kyle Bornheimer.
Kyle Bornheimer, I don't think his main profession is acting, but he got to come back.
I think he's got a pretty extensive resume, actually.
I think he does, but they're
bit parts or smaller stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, smaller stuff. Absolutely.
But I love the interview. Were you gonna elaborate? Go ahead.
One thing that I thought was a little on the nose is when he was asking him about the lines in the WM.
Yes.
And she said the M was just a little bit crooked.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cute. But then when he's like, huh, a little bit crooked, like a little too on the nose.
Oh, see the actual wording of it, because what I took from it was she was honest.
Mm-hmm.
He asked her a question, she asked her honestly. She didn't just be like, "Oh no, it's fine. You did it. It's great."
Right. She was honest and said it was
Right.
a little crooked, but he goes, huh, it's a little bit crooked, which is obviously an allusion to his kind of ambiguous morality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
A little bit crooked. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I
didn't
was
really
like-
put that together. Nice catch.
Yeah, thank you. And I was just like, a little on the nose, but it was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute. They head into an interview, and Jimmy was kind of like, man, I don't know. He was like, it was like he wasn't taking it seriously. Like he just needed somebody.
Right. Yeah. He said, he ends up saying that he's expecting a bunch of phone calls. Needs some help right now.
Mhm.
So he didn't care. Some formalities, and he kind of knew. Everybody knows what it's like at the DMV.
Right. Yeah.
So he kind of knew she'd be able to handle the game.
Yeah, and Kim, in contrast, is kind of like she's all business, trying to take
Right.
it serious, and she's not really impressed by Jimmy's method of.
Right. Well, Jimmy's got quantity.
Right.
Kim's got quality. She's got
Right.
one major client. Jimmy's got a lot of kind of easy work.
Yeah, and he was asking. I don't have any of the direct quotes, but kind of just like silly questions.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
didn't write any quotes down either, but
yeah.
yeah.
But and then he offers her the job right then and there, and,
Yeah.
and that is how Francesca
Enters the fold.
enters the fold. Yeah, one of the funny things, because it's like in Breaking Bad, like Saul seems like he has a lot of fun, like just kind of like poking at her,
Uh-huh.
like messing with her,
Yeah.
and like the one where like he's like, that ass girl, or he says something about her ass as she walks back into the office. Like, I hope we eventually get to see like how that develops.
How he kind of breaks that barrier down.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And of course, this takes place like so many years ago. Like nowadays, like Saul would have got sued for like sexual harassment, but
well,
back
that's
then,
neither here nor there.
but back then, people could take a joke or at least didn't take everything as serious. So it'll be interesting too.
Remember, yeah, this is around the era of MySpace, not Facebook, Brian.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Very nice. So
I love the training. We're gonna get into the training.
yeah, trial by fire, right?
Love it. Oh, that and the whole like be folksy.
Yeah,
Because she's just being professional.
Yeah.
And then he totally coaches her, and it's that whole charismatic, winning
Yeah.
people over their personality.
like I like how the idea of folksy is everybody gets asked how hot it is out there today,
right.
and then also she mentions Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, he tells
twice.
her, mention Cracker Barrel. Yeah. And I like how when she called him Mr. Gill, and he's like, no, Jimmy. Always Jimmy.
Always Jimmy.
Don't call me Mr. McGill.
Yeah,
Very personable.
yeah, and she gets a phone. phone call as he's kind of putting together the office and such, which is kind of like a fun scene. Like it's
yeah.
Man, I really like that scene, but I can't explain why. Even though it's kind of mundane, but it's just kind of funny, like her working through the process of the script that she's supposed to speak, and he's just kind of doing something mundane, like putting the couches where they're supposed to be, and it's actually Mike on the other line.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that pretty quick too. The way he wasn't having the folksy, she kept. He wouldn't let her blow him off.
Right. Yeah. And he takes the call ASAP, and Mike's actually buying a new car, and he invites Jimmy for breakfast.
I love the inflatable gorilla in the background. That's so perfect.
I didn't even see that.
You didn't notice that?
No,
it was
I
a
usually
gorilla
notice
with
stuff like that.
beat shorts and sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
Because almost the exact same gorilla was at the dealership when I bought the current car that I'm driving.
Like where they have like a giant fan like hooked up to a chute, and it's just like I like when
not the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing.
No, I know, but that's how they're filled up. Like
right?
They have a giant fan, and it just. I like it when they put them on top of the dealership, so it's just like this giant, like 10-story tall,
right, just hovering over you.
Yeah.
Buy a car here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was holding a car above his head that said "sale" in a King Kong like fashion.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, he's like, "You breakfast tomorrow?"
Now, then Mike sends Jimmy to Los Pollos Hermanos. I think I pronounced it Polos last time, but it's
Pollos. Los Pollos
Hermanos. And he's basically there to scope out the guy with the green backpack.
Right, and this is one of my favorite shots too.
Yeah, it's in Bob Odenkirk, when we spoke to him, kind of alluded to this because I brought up how there's like a little bit more comedy, and he spoke. In it was obviously he was talking about this scene where it's a lot of physical comedy, no real words. The scene goes on for minutes,
right?
And it's just Jimmy trying to be coy,
right,
and stake out this guy who brings the backpack in. He gets his coffee for breakfast, and he's watching the Mark arrive, and he's following him around the restaurant, and and then it turns out the guy just does nothing.
Right.
With the green bag. Even though that was like the focus to see what happened with it. He does absolutely nothing with it.
Right. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, stop staring at him so hard.
Right.
And this is my thought. Gus saw Jimmy staring and Gus called off the drop.
You know what? That's awesome because I'm gonna circle back to that in a minute, so don't let me forget. Right?
Okay.
So and then the Mark uses the garbage, and Jimmy like dives in the garbage.
Yeah, I started laughing at that. His ass is hanging out the garbage.
Right, yeah.
Like how more conspicuous can you be? You're half your body's in the damn garbage can.
And then
clever.
and he pulls off his watch and drops it in there intentionally, and he's approached by Gus, and then we finally get to see Gus.
Right. You see his abdomen.
Right, yeah, I have notes here. He actually appears like a minute before, like sweeping the background, but it's like a very, like his abdomen and out of focus.
Yes.
Which is funny because
it's him.
Right, because even I the whole time was like, they're going to show.
I was like, there he is, there he is.
Yeah. So then it cuts to Jimmy and Mike. Jimmy's briefing Mike about what he saw in the car, right?
Oh, but I don't want to forget the part where he has a soda machine with his arm. We're talking about the physical comedy. I laughed out loud at that part too. And he just kind of shakes it off, and
yeah. And, well, what's awesome about that too is like he makes noise and it startles him because he's trying to be sneaky.
Right.
But in a busy ass restaurant, it wouldn't matter that he makes noise because literally every person
that actually makes you blend in better.
Right. Yeah.
And the amount of sugar you put in his coffee too.
Yeah.
Because when he drank the coffee, he's like, "Oh, that's gross," because he just kept pouring sugar while he was watching the guy.
Right. Great scene though. I really like it.
And
not a lot of talking thus far in this episode, just a lot of physicality.
And I do want to mention when I said I like the pan, how it starts off Jimmy's outside the car, the camera circles the room, and when it comes back, he's inside the restaurant.
Yeah.
So you set the scene, then it's kind of established some more artistic stuff, and then then the scene commences, and now we move on to where Jimmy's briefing Gus.
Yep. So Jimmy's briefing Mike.
I'm sorry, Jimmy's briefing Mike.
briefing him in the car. And it's so funny because he just wants to be part of the caper.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like he just wants to be part of it because Mike is just like kind of taking the information, trying to process why whatever transpired. And Jimmy like, yeah, okay. So like, what's next?
I cleared my whole morning.
Yeah,
yeah. What are we gonna do now?
I clear the books. Like we're in this together.
Are we gonna chase down the Kettlemans or what?
Yeah. He's like, what's our next move?
Yeah, what's our?
And Mike's just like, that's it. Yeah, he's like, but I cleared my morning.
Which is that strikes me as kind of weird too because he's so used to pulling scams. So when he gets kind of that green. When somebody's real green and new to something, excitement about it, it's kind of like, well, you're like a professional scam artist.
Right.
It's weird to see him get that excited about helping, but he likes capers, man.
Yeah. I like how he assures Mike that he has his back.
Right.
Like, hey, who has your back? This
right.
guy, or I don't remember what he said, but and then Mike just kind of like blows him off and drives off.
Get the fuck out of my car. We're done here.
So they leave, and then it pulls out, right? And Gus is kind of sweeping up outside. Then he looks up, and like that's the moment where it seems like he puts two and two together. But as I was watching it, I'm like, what triggered him to figure out what was going on? Like, did he see, like when he looked up, like like Mike's car pull away from across the street?
Jimmy's car. It was Jimmy's car. In
the reflection of
steam.
And then he thought something was weird because why would that car be parked there so long after he was in his restaurant or something? You know what I mean? Like I was like, what was the moment?
Yeah,
like what triggered him to figure it out? But then you stated that
I think he already knew. I think because I found that look weird when Gus like perks up and kind of looks past the camera, like. I think that's to tell us he knows something. And I think he might have been outside kind of doing to Jimmy what Jimmy was just doing to Backpack.
Ah, there you go.
Kind of watching him out of the corner of his eye. He sees Jimmy go over the hill, but the car doesn't leave or whatever. So he's just kind of hanging out outside.
Right.
Kind of what I took from it. So when Gus like stands up and looks off, it's not because he just realized it. It's just that's an artistic thing to us saying
like a nod, because now he's processing his next move,
right?
Which makes sense because nothing happened with the green bag, and you brought up like Gus was obviously around the restaurant and keeping an eye on things, and maybe he like waved his hand or something, or gave him some sort of signal.
Maybe that's what I was thinking is they might have a deal where he goes and gets a meal, and if Gus doesn't approach him by the time the meal's done, he bails out.
Gotcha.
You know. Because in Breaking Bad, Gus would always join them.
Right, yeah.
He'd always join you at your table. So he doesn't join you at your table, you just finish your meal and act normal.
Yeah.
Clever.
Overall, good scene. Well, good. That puts it in context. So that's good. See, you helped me out, guy. You helped me out.
You're welcome, buddy. And then we have the time-lapse scene, which I really enjoyed. The whole time-lapse, and Mike's tracking the cars, which shows Mike's attention to detail.
Right.
And then the black Escalade pulls up.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I thought you were saying was a nod to another Breaking Bad character. Who's the guy driving? Was that a Breaking Bad character?
I don't know.
They made a point to show his face, so either you know who he is or you need to know who he is.
Right. And I thought that too. Because I don't have time to go back and scan every episode of Breaking Bad. But if anybody out there knows if that's a character from Breaking Bad, please feel free to inform Dave and I, and we'll give you a shout out for sure.
And we could check the credits, but the episode hasn't aired yet, so it's not credited yet. So we can't go see if that guy's in both credits.
Right. And then again, he uses the binoculars on the mirrors again.
Yeah, does it again.
Which apparently is a common tactic of his.
I'm going to try it this week.
Yeah, that's something we got to try. And then Mike takes off.
Well, he realizes that guy has the tracker. Mm-hmm. So now Mike's chasing the tracker again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cut to the next scene. Ernesto arrives at Kim and Jimmy's office.
Our boy Brandon.
And then he gets Kim to come outside.
Which is hilarious.
That she has to come outside?
Well, because he calls her, says come outside, and then he says, well, I didn't want to call you. And she's like, you did call me. He's like, oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, he's not sure how to handle it.
Right. He's very awkward, and he's very not comfortable around anybody but Jimmy. I guess maybe it's just Jimmy's personality puts Ernie at ease, and that's why he's so on Jimmy's side.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's very awkward the way he just beats around the bush, and Kim has to drag it out of him, and all that confidentiality stuff.
Right.
And then it turns out the whole scene's just a big dick tease.
Yeah. Well, but then we see Kim.
But immediately gets resolved.
Right. Yeah. Kim goes inside to relay the information to Jimmy, and
when Kim grabs Jimmy, did you hear the background?
No.
You hear Francesca say, "Did you guys have the soup at Cracker Barrel today?"
Oh.
Because the people are checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she asked about Cracker
Keeping
Barrel.
up the folksy. Keeping up the folksy.
It's genius because this one I told myself I wanted to listen with headphones because I wanted to hear background shit. I'm gonna keep doing that. That's gonna be my thing. And yeah, it's like very subtle, but she totally mentions Cracker Barrel.
I like how she pulls Jimmy aside and she's obviously upset and kind of nervous and trying to process everything. And she does the whole give me $1.
Is this the origin of that? Because I remember Breaking Bad, but has Jimmy done this yet in Better Call Saul?
No, this is the first time. That's where it came from. My notes said Saul did that exact thing in Breaking Bad when Walt and Jesse kidnapped him, and he kind of talks him off the ledge from like whatever he thinks they're going to do, and he's like, put like a $5 in my pocket. He's like, all right, I'm your lawyer now. We have client confidentiality, client whatever.
Oh, he didn't do that with the twins?
No.
I was trying to remember if he did that with the twins.
No.
Okay.
I mean, correct. Feel free out there to correct us.
We
if
may
we're
be wrong, but as far as we're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, he stole this tactic from Kim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's nice. Good. And it's nice, and it like organically made sense.
Organic callback to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it wasn't shoehorned in. It was
right. It wasn't seahorned in.
It wasn't seahorned in. And Jimmy tells Kim what transpired, and Kim informs Jimmy that he was recorded, which again I can't believe I didn't pick it up in episode 1, but Chuck totally had the play button pushed down, so when Ernesto put the batteries in, that it would intentionally play some of the tape, thus making Chuck's con. He was playing the long con.
I was gonna bring that up later, but yeah, he's totally set Ernie up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he knew Ernie would go tell Jimmy.
So when he said, in episode 1, where Howard Hamlin's like, I can't think of anybody that would be interested in this. And Chuck said, I know somebody.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So who'd be interested in it? Ernesto, because he knew Ernesto and Jimmy are buddies. So he would eventually.
Didn't Ernie lie about the scene too at the copy place?
Yeah. He lied to him. And Chuck knew he was lying.
Yeah, he kind of had it out for Ernie too. He feels Ernie's in on this.
Right.
Ernie just wants to be friends. Like,
right.
He's totally caught up in the middle of this. Absolutely. Right. But yeah, when they revealed that was the long con, because I didn't pick it up until the end of the episode, and it kind of blew my mind.
Kim runs down all the reasons why the tape is, legally worthless, and Jimmy kind of really doesn't seem fazed by it at first. He's just, his whole attitude is like, well, we'll just kind of cross the bridge when we get there. We'll. Right. Everything will work out. We'll take care of it.
I thought he was fazed by it pretty good. I even wrote that down.
You think so?
What'd I say?
I mean, he didn't panic.
Jimmy takes it hard, and then Kim is the doing. So I wrote down that Jimmy takes it hard, and then Kim is the calming voice. She's not mad. She just wants to get past this or whatever. And she's like, "We're gonna figure this out." She even said that we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah. And then it shows Jimmy, he's unrolling the tape with the same technique that Chuck
taught him.
While
Kim's talking him down, kind of a flip-flop reversal.
Right. He's like, I feel like he's trying to play it cool, like it doesn't bother him as much as it does. And he's rolling the tape, but as he's rolling it, and kind of like maybe the frustration of having to roll the tape so slow, so the line is perfect. And like the wheels are turning in his head.
And it's a reminder of what Chuck did.
And it just keeps growing and growing and growing. He eventually gets pissed off, rips the tape off, and ruins his.
And he makes that corner crooked.
Because that's the point, man. That's the.
Because that's what she said. That right corner is a little crooked, and that's the corner that he fucks up by dragging it. Totally pointless. But I really enjoyed the flip flop, the way he's rolling the tape and Kim's talking him down, as opposed to Chuck rolling the tape and Jimmy talking Chuck down.
Yep.
In episode 1.
Yep. Awesome. Mike is still on the hunt. He's in the middle of nowhere, and he eventually happens upon the gas cap on top of a phone in the middle of the road. Which I'm pretty sure something similar happened in Breaking Bad when Walter White was trying to turn the tables on Gus, and Gus kind of let him out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure there was a scene in Breaking Bad where there was a phone in the middle of a road in the middle of nowhere, and it was very similar. Mike answered the phone. Yeah, like kind of like you got me kind of deal. Like.
So I'm going to go ahead and double down here. And that's when Gus offers Mike the job, as I said in preview of the prior.
Oh, nice.
All my other predictions were way off.
Well, that's the point of preview of the prior, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Predicting the next episode of Better Call Saul, often incorrectly. That's right.
But we have no idea what was said because it just cut when Mike said yeah, right?
Yep. I'm assuming that's probably out of commercial, like watching on TV. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Probably, I think so, yeah.
Well, we haven't yet had the chance to watch it on TV. So we pick back up and we see Howard Hamlin, kind of just like
PFAB driving the Jag,
hauling balls and scaling walls. That's what I wrote.
That's awesome.
I like how he's like climbing the walls and he hits the wind chime. It's like, oh shit! Like he made all these noises.
There's a little more of that physical comedy too.
Yeah, he's
Jimmy did the same thing. It's all about the elbows.
Yeah, he's like trespassing a bit. And we actually talked to Patrick Fabian about this. Like I always say that Patrick Fabian or Howard Hamlin, the character, always has like this like Superman stance of like he's ready to rock. After he scales like the second wall and he's finally in Chuck's backyard, which you don't know it at the time, but he's in the backyard and then he just kind of straightens up and like kind of cracks his neck and puts a suit on. It's like game time and he's like,
right.
Yeah, you can almost hear him be like, let's do this. And like then he heads into Chuck's house, looking dapper as fuck.
Dapper as fuck.
Especially since he just climbed 2 walls in the hot-ass desert sun.
Well, as Patrick said, those suits are worth more than his role.
Right.
Yeah, then he confronts Chuck, and he is getting concerned. The ploy is wearing out. Like, how long are you going to keep this up? They say it's been 8 days?
Yeah, because he's worried about the cost of it all, because that's when we find out that guy is basically a private investigator to be a witness to whatever... to their anticipated move that Jimmy is going to break in and steal the tape. What happened to Chuck's head? He had a big mark on his head. Did he get hit in the head? Is that something I just wasn't seeing? Or maybe that's something we'll find out later?
I didn't even think to note that because now you're saying that. I remember seeing a bandage on Chuck's head.
Yeah. Did I miss something?
Yeah, the end of season 2. He slammed his head on the freaking countertop at the coffee shop or the copy shop.
Oh, but for some reason I didn't.
That's the bandage from him nailing on his head on the counter.
Oh, maybe it was very prominent because for some reason I didn't notice that bandage in the previous scenes with Chuck.
No,
it could have totally been there.
I think it probably was,
but I feel like it was more prominent, maybe because of what transpires in the scenes. Like it's like a visual metaphor for like the hurt and pain or damage or whatever.
I think there's so much going on and we're paying so much attention to other things.
Yeah.
That maybe didn't register.
Yeah, for some reason I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened to his head? But yeah,
I must have subconsciously put that together because that didn't strike me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Chuck's got a bandage on his head. But yeah, it's funny. That's the whole point is that he passed out and I really like Chuck's like as officers of the court, this is our ethical responsibility. Bullshit.
Right.
No, this is a personal vendetta against your brother, dude.
Right, yeah. And by saying stuff like that, though, he's also like kind of like manipulating Howard Hamlin.
Right.
Trying to make it seem like it's not personal, but this shit's personal.
Right.
And it's obvious that it's personal. And they're like, how do we even know this is going to work? And Chuck goes on, look, if I know my brother, and it starts talking about how he's going to break in the cover of darkness. And then Jimmy breaks the goddamn door down in the middle of the day.
In the middle of it. That's exactly what I wrote down, too. It's like, wrong. And that is, sorry to cut you off, but right before that happened is when I put together that he set Ernie up. That Ernie was part of the long game, and that was all on purpose. Because I'd always been questioning, why the hell was the play button depressed when he changed the batteries? So
because remember, I originally thought they did like the whole weird thing, like, oh, I put the batteries in and accidentally hit play, and then it was just coincidental. And then everybody corrected me, and I'm like, why the hell didn't I catch on to that to begin with?
Right.
But yeah, so he totally pressed the play button so Ernie would hear it. I figured that out when Ernie was in the car and he showed up to talk to Kim Wexler.
Yeah, no, I didn't put that together until there was something said in that scene that triggered it. I didn't write down what was said, but that was the moment. So I was a little slow on that.
Yeah,
but I got there.
And Jimmy's like, asshole, no wonder why Rebecca left you.
That was a big line. By the way, Tarantula Doug just entered the room.
Doug, Tarantula Doug. Happy birthday, Doug.
So yeah, when he says, no wonder Rebecca left you, what took her so long? That answers one question we've had.
That is, hold on one sec. Tarantula Doug. I wonder if anybody even remembers that. From like,
Will now.
it was a tarantula.
Well, we'll have another chance to say it because it's one of the openings of the show.
So, yeah, and it kind of hits them right in the gut, right? Like, no
Right.
wonder why Rebecca left you. And just a couple notes on that. One, when my accidentally deleted interview with Michael McKean, he did bring it up that we would get a little bit more insight into Rebecca and his relationship. And he talked about how it does bother Chuck because he knows that his brother's kind of a dipshit, but everybody loves him.
Right.
You know, so it's like...
That reminds me. There was a big moment that we didn't address.
What's that?
And it was when Francesca says, they really love you. And he looks at the mural and goes, yeah, well, who doesn't?
Oh.
And the look on his face because Chuck doesn't.
Oh, I never caught that.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's like, yeah, everybody loves me. Who doesn't?
Nice job.
But no, he's totally fucking it all up with Chuck.
Twitter follower John Miller also put it out there. Rebecca was confirmed by Michael McKean. He stated that he got to work with Ann Cusack again this season, and we'll get to find out more about their relationship.
Oh, so she will actually be on the show.
Yep, at some point.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Leaked on Twitter, not by us.
Well, that was a direct quote from Michael McKean, and
Okay.
I can confirm that had I not deleted the interview that I did last week with Michael McKean, he does talk about that. You'll get more insight.
And you know what sucks is I went back to that email that you sent me, and no, it links it to your link. So it wasn't like you sent me the file and then deleted yours. You sent me a link to yours because when I clicked it, it said this file has been deleted. Damn it.
I accidentally deleted an interview I did with Michael McKean, who plays Chuck McGill on Better Call Saul, Doug. Yeah, Tarantula Doug.
Anyway, so when Jimmy does say, no wonder she left you, it took you so long, that was, I mean, was there a straw needed to break that camel's back that he's totally like, Chuck's just full on vindictive now?
Well,
and like, just go ahead because Jimmy starts going crazy and going.
Right. He just wanted to try to hurt him. And here's another thing that me and Michael McKean talked about where Jimmy takes no responsibility for anything that transpired because, like, yeah, Chuck is an asshole, but Jimmy's like, you ruined our family for this.
Yeah.
But, like, Jimmy's the one that, like, put all this in motion. Like, all this is a direct result of him.
Yeah. And that was kind of weird, though. You ruined our family for this.
Like
It's
the tape.
just
It was like, what do you got copies of? He's
But
like,
it's just them too. You know, like you ruined our family. It's just them too. Like you ruined our relationship.
Yeah,
would be more appropriate. So what? Why did he? That's an interesting choice of words to me.
I didn't pick up on that, but yeah, I guess you're right. They are the only two. Then Chuck is just kind of make sure Howard Hamlin and Solitaire playing detective guy enter the room. And Chuck confirms that they're witnesses. They say, yeah, we were here, man. We totally are. And then the episode ends with them just kind of staring at each other. And
Jimmy drops his head.
Yeah, and Chuck has the whole, like, checkmate.
Right.
Like, type look.
Which it's not going to be a checkmate. It's only the second episode. By the way, totally wrong on my prediction that they don't address the relationship. It just took him to the last scene of the fucking episode to do it. Because I was the whole time, I'm like, yes, I'm going to be right about that. And then, nope, it's a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah. And, I guess maybe next episode we might see Jimmy go to jail because a lot of the promo materials for this year were alluding to Jimmy in jail. I think there was actually like a picture of him in like a jumpsuit, but the main promo pic for this year, it looks like Jimmy like painted stripes on the wall, but then it goes over his suit, so it looks like a classic, like old school, like jail.
Yes.
Uniform,
like those old jail movies, where they're chasing with the spotlight.
Yeah, so maybe he'll have like a classic ball and chain and make an escape down like a random railroad track. Like dogs are following him, and he has to you have to traverse the creek because the bloodhounds can't smell the water. That'd be great though to see like Jimmy McGill like put the ball and chain on a railroad track and then like lay down and hope that he doesn't get hit by the train, so it cuts off the chains.
Or just to see him, tunnel 20 years worth of tunneling behind a poster, and then he has to escape through the sewer system. That'd be great.
All narrated by Morgan Freeman. That'd be the only logical way this can go.
He's going full on Dufresne.
Right. But overall, what do you think of the episode, Dave?
I loved it. This was more satisfying to me than the first one, although like I said, the first one really laid some groundwork, and this one just kind of set more stuff in motion. And or maybe it's just because I took more detailed notes this time. I don't know, but yeah, I liked it. I'm still kind of like the whole relationship with Jimmy and Kim is still feeling kind of ambiguous at this point.
Yeah.
That it really seems undetermined. It's like they're kind of leaving that open so they can fill it in later, I guess. But I didn't expect the long game by Chuck.
Yeah.
I really didn't expect that. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. I really liked how much they put Gus into it. He had like a couple lines. And he was typical, like, hey, I'll help you. I'll clean your watch for you, And but I think I'm right. I think he called off a swap that was supposed to happen. And I think that might come into play because now Gus doesn't have his product.
Right.
So maybe he's going to go send Mike to retrieve it or something. But we'll save that for preview of the prior. Yeah. Also, I just realized Mike followed this guy one time and assumes that it's his daily routine. Oh. That doesn't seem... I mean, I understand sometimes you're just writing a show. You don't have time to explain all that. But it seemed to me like Mike followed this guy one time and assumes that this guy does the same routine every day.
Maybe he's banking on his breadth of experience throughout the years.
Because it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Routine. Everything that guy did was routine. He knew what he was doing. He didn't hesitate. You can tell he's been doing it a lot. But every day, because I wouldn't automatically assume that you're going to go pick up that much drugs or whatever from that drop every single day.
But I do,
or
for the record. No.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting to me.
Maybe real recognized real.
Game recognized game.
Game recognized game, and he just spotted another professional.
I guess so.
You know what I mean? And if he's involved, he's obviously involved in that world. So maybe he just.
But I mean, Walt didn't.
Maybe it was a very educated guess.
Yeah.
Right, because when he said Jimmy into the restaurant.
Yes, but I guess I'm just kind of elaborating on the point that it's a guess. And I don't know. Mike's a badass. Whatever. It's just writing. It's fiction. Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Now wrap up the show.
All right. So send us your ideas and what you think. You can do it on Twitter. That's probably the best way to do it, at ISGM Podcast. You can check out our website at www.itssaulgoodman.com.
Double S. It's saulgoodman.com.
Please make sure to check out our interview with the man himself, Bob Odenkirk.
That was a good one.
It is?
There's a really special moment in that interview that's never happened amongst any of our other guests.
That's true. A lot of people commenting on that, too.
And I love how he, when you addressed it, and then you're like, oh, we're idiots for doing it. He's like, no, it's fine. He's like, I just wanted to look it up. It's cool.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Yeah. It's like he knows that we're just some shitty amateurs.
Right.
Because he's been there.
Right.
And he's so grateful where he is. And he knows what it's like.
Yeah. Very, very nice. It'sAllGoodman.com. Please make sure to subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. You can find us on Facebook. Also, make sure to check out the Nothing Important Podcast at nothingimportantpodcast.com or on iTunes or at Not Important PC. And something I always forget to mention, at Not Important PC is also our handle on Snapchat. And periodically, because I'm not the kind of person that I'll just take random pictures of what I'm eating, but every once in a while you might get to see an email from some celebrity that turned us down for an interview. My all-time favorite so far is Burt Reynolds. His agent.
It was just the middle finger.
Yeah. His agent typed out just simply, Burt doesn't do these kind of things. Like, that was it.
Which is the kind of response we actually want.
Yeah.
It's pithy and honest.
Right.
Don't beat around the bush.
Yep. And sometimes we do reuse interviews from It's All Goodman over on Nothing Important, but I do have a lot of cool people lined up for Nothing Important, but they're usually just like Better Call Saul people. They're busy in their own right. I feel like it's in a weird way at this point because Better Call Saul is the niche, so it's easier to land those people because we're a part of what they're doing. Where it's like the general one, I have two really hilarious interviews that I'm waiting for but it keeps getting pushed back because of the project that they're currently working on. Where I feel like somebody on the show, Better Call Saul, would probably work in 5 minutes to chat with us.
Right.
Where the other guys are like, dude, I am too busy to talk. They're like, I'll talk to you.
Right.
I'm just
Just wait.
chill.
Wait. Yeah.
I'm chill for right now. So anyway,
Back the fuck off.
make sure to check us out. Thank you for participating. Be on the lookout for all of our upcoming interviews.
If you have $1 to spare, go buy the theme song.
If you have $1 to spare, go buy the theme song. The link should be in the description of the episode. If Dave ever sends me the link, he didn't send it to me last time.
Oh, god damn it. I'll get
So make sure to send me the link, Dave,
Okay.
and maybe some of these fine folks will buy your new remix theme song. So with that, I hope your Easter was awesome. I hope you guys participate in preview with a prior. Hi, Ranchula Doug. Dave? When you're done laughing?
Call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever. Just call us.
It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man.